Hello everybody, it's me Boldie. This is the review for episode 7 of Game of Thrones season 6, so if you haven't watched it yet, spoilers incoming. So just like the episode started, we are going to dive in directly into the hot stuff. I can't get over how beautifully the beginning of the episode was made. It had such a unique feeling to it. For a moment I felt like I was watching a completely different show. And Ian McShane helped a lot. He did such an amazing job playing the elder brother. So the first and most amazing event in this scene was the reveal that the Hound is still alive and kicking. Hide your chickens or put them all out for these beautiful bastards to give him a warm welcome back. I was a bit afraid that when we'll get the Hound back, he'll be a totally different person, totally changed and the brother of the Fate. But no, we really did get the Hound back. The same old Sandor Clegane. Well, not exactly the same, but he only changed for his own good. What I mean by that is that he starts to understand more and more what he really has to do to get all that hatred out of him. I'll explain this in a moment. Let's start with the beginning. How many men did it take to cut you down? Asks the elder brother. I was really curious to see if Sandor is going to be honest about it, and he was. One. And he was a woman. When the elder brother started laughing, I started fearing for his life. Surprised by how the Hound managed to survive after such injuries, the elder asked him what kept you going, and the answer is a revealing one for me. Hate, said Sandor Clegane. The elder keeps telling him that the gods have kept him for a reason, and this is not the first time Sandor hears that. So now, if we connect the two dots, his hatred and the reason he still lives, we might conclude that the closure he needs, he will get by killing the one person who he hates the most. His brother, the Mountain. Clegane Bowl what? But I don't think we'll get to see Clegane Bowl this season, because the Fate doesn't have the slightest clue about Sandor Clegane, and what will Sandor do? He doesn't know what's going on in King's Landing either. Is he just going to go there on his own and find out? It seems a bit improbable to me. Maybe he will play a role in the war with the White Walkers. If you remember when he was on trial in season 3, if the Lord of Light is not bullshit, he defeated Beric Dondarrion. Anyway, everything that the elder is saying to him, Sandor absorbs with skepticism, but by his expressions, we can see the subtle effect that the elder's words have on him, and that he becomes closer and closer to a realization. After this, we get another beautiful example on how realistic George R.R. Martin writes his characters. No wholly good, no wholly evil character, all very complex. The elder brother tells his stories and what he learned to the people, and he talks about how one time he cut a boy's throat right before his mother's eyes, and how that experience changed him afterwards. So this dude that we all kinda got attached at the beginning of the episode, since he seems so nice and fatherly, I don't know, killed someone's son right before her eyes. We can see the subtle effect that the stories have on Sandor and how he reflects on them. At one point the elder said, "It's never too late to come back," and it was a long pause there, so it might have been important. The Hound maybe will go back to King's Landing and face his brother. Then they get a visit from what appears to be 3 members of the Brotherhood Without Banners. They are obviously trouble, but I don't yet know why. The Brotherhood Without Banners members are supposed to be protecting the weak. Beric Dondarrion even said this to Clegane. No matter whose cloak you wear, Lannister, Stark, Baratheon, you prey on the weak, the Brotherhood Without Banners will hunt you down. So now the Brotherhood Without Banners are attacking the weak? I hope we get some explanations next episode. After all, we didn't see the members we all know and love like Thoros of Myr or Anguy. So as we expected, the Brotherhood did come back to attack. And seeing all of them dead, Sandor realized this is no way of living in a world like that, so he picked up that axe and most probably went after the Brotherhood. Can't wait for next episode. We see him swing the axe in the trailer to what looks like one of the dudes from the Brotherhood. Whooshu! So here is what I find even more interesting about the last 3 scenes of the episode. The scenes with Sandor and Arya were intertwined, and usually the show does this for a reason. Braavos, the place where Arya is, and the place where Sandor is, are only separated by the sea. So if Arya will be able to sail to Westeros, I wouldn't be surprised if she will meet the Hound again. Here's something even crazier. We all expect Gendry to come back as well. Also, the good guys from the Brotherhood. If you remember in season 3, the Brotherhood, Sandor Clegane, Gendry and Arya were all together in the same room. What if they all meet again now and maybe Sandor or Arya will take the place of Lady Stoneheart and lead the Brotherhood? Maybe it sounds too good to be true, but I hope it is true. That is of course assuming that Arya lives. So let's talk talk about her getting stabbed by Waif. There is a theory that says the one who gets stabbed wasn't in fact Arya, but Jaqen using magic to wear her face. We saw him do that once, and Arya wasn't dead, so it is possible that a man can wear someone's face using some kind of magic even though that person isn't dead. Now let's see what proof do we have for that. First, look at the way Arya is walking, with her hands behind her back. Remember who walks like that? Exactly, Jaqen. Not only that, but look at her face, at her expression. That's not Arya's expression, but we know someone who has that subtle smile on his face. Another thing that makes this probable is the fact that Arya was strolling around so carelessly on the streets when she knew that Waif is probably after her. At the end of episode 6, we see her being very cautious and going into some kind of dark place with Needle. So what exactly changed her attitude so much? This is why I also think Jaqen would help her. When Waif went to him to tell him that Arya didn't kill Lady Crane, he said, "A shame, a girl had many gifts." And now look at this shot where Arya is looking at the Titan of Braavos again. If that is Jaqen, we combine the two scenes together and we realize that he sees a very important future for Arya, even more so than being a faceless assassin. So what do you think, guys? I certainly want this to be true. Anyway, I want to point out how Arya was stabbed by Waif. It was so similar with how Talisa, Rob's wife, got stabbed at the Red Wedding in her belly. I know it doesn't mean anything, but it just brought back sad memories in my head, so I wanted to share them with you. I know I'm an asshole. Whooshu! We now move at King's Landing, and we see Marjorie continuing her performance. I'm wondering if the High Sparrow has his doubts about everything that Marjorie is saying, and I believe he has some. I think there is another conversation between them that none of them are saying out loud, but I can't figure out what Marjorie is planning to do at all, but I believe things will get violent for sure, since Marjorie told her grandmother so confident to leave King's Landing and go home, and she gave her that note with the rose, which is the symbol of House Tyrell, to ensure Olenna that it is still her inside and she is only planning something. But I do fear that Marjorie won't end up too good after that emotional goodbye scene with her grandmother. Anyhow, the High Sparrow is being all creepy and stuff by telling Marjorie she needs to have sex with Tommen. That of course to produce an heir, otherwise the future of the alliance between the Faith and the Crown will be in danger. Also, just to ensure you again that Marjorie is just acting, look how disgusted she looks when the High Sparrow touches her hand. I thought it was hilarious. Then we have a scene between Olenna and Cercei, and Olenna walks all over Cercei in this scene. Cercei finds out that Olenna is leaving King's Landing, and so she tries to convince her to stay because they need each other to confront the High Sparrow, but Olenna is not impressed. She tells Cercei that this is all her fault, and she is all alone in this and should admit that she lost. People despise her. And it is true, but Cercei still has the mountain and Qyburn, and she will do damage. But it remains to be seen how crazy she'll go. We'll see the mountain do some damage in next episode. Maybe even kill Lancel, Cersei's cousin, which she banged as well. Can't wait for next episode to see how it's all going to play out after the mountain does some damage. Whooshu! Meanwhile, Jon, Sansa and Davos try to gather as much support as they can for the upcoming war against the Boltons. We start with the Wildlings, but I really didn't have much doubts about them accepting, however they did need some convincing. But really, when Wun stands up and says, "Snow," the deal is fucking done. We can sense he has this loyalty and respect towards Jon. I'm just wondering if there are still mammoths. I hope they are, because the Wildlings are not the best tacticians, and it will come in handy to have at least the element of surprise by having mammoths and giants. A lot of Westerosi don't even believe in mammoths or giants, so it can come in handy. And the Boltons are very well trained in battle. After all, they did defeat Stannis' army. That's why it would be good to have the element of surprise in Jon's army. So the next stop is House Mormont, and holy shit, what a badass. Lyanna Mormont, 10 years old, made me feel like a little girl. Great actress as well. She was not impressed with the small talk and what Jon or Sansa had to say, and so Davos stepped in. I think we all remembered at that point his relationship with Shireen Baratheon, and hope that he will have somewhat a similar effect on Lyanna Mormont, and he did. He told her about the White Walkers, and Jon confirmed this to Lyanna by telling her how both him and her uncle Jeor Mormont fought the White Walkers and lost. I loved how then Lyanna stopped the Maester from giving her advice like, I've made my decision. She's such a boss. So she accepts, and Jon's army number raised by 62 good men. Yup, that's right, 62 men House Mormont offered for this war, but Lyanna ensured them that these are good men. As Davos said, if they are half as ferocious as their lady, the Boltons are doomed. So then we get to hear what other houses joined in and how many men. 200 Hornwoods, 143 Masons, 62 Mormons. So that's like 405 men from the northern houses plus 2000 wildlings. So Sansa doesn't think they have enough men, nor does Jon, but he says they can't waste any more time and they will go to battle with what they have. After this we got a shot with a raven and Sansa made a decision. She decided to write to Littlefinger, most probably, and that made me feel both relieved and scared at the same time, because we all know Littlefinger. I hope he doesn't do anything stupid or genius, but only for his own good. But I doubt so. Actually, the actor who plays Littlefinger admitted that Baelish didn't know about Ramsay, so he must really feel bad for what he did. And he wouldn't actually do something to hurt the daughter of the woman he loved. So given that Davos thought they stood a chance even with the man they have now, add the Vale army and they might even have an advantage over the Boltons. Whooshu! So let's now talk about Yara and Theon, and then we're going to move at Riverrun. You know shit is real in Game of Thrones when you see only one nude scene throughout the whole episode, am I right? The funniest moment in this scene for me was when Yara told Theon, "I know you've had some bad years," and Theon interrupted with, "Bad years? I mean, come on lady, he has no willy and you took him to a freaking brothel or whatever that is." Anyway, he then gets some tough love from Yara. She basically tells him, "Hey, I need you, so either find the old Theon inside or kill yourself. End it now." So then we get a glimpse of the old Theon, but I am pretty sure he will never fully recover. I'm so curious if they will make it to Dany. I think if they do make it, Dany will accept them, but I'm worried that Euron will get to Theon and Yara before that and kill them. Let me know what you guys think. Who will be the first to reach Dany, Yara and Theon, or Euron? And if you say Euron, let me know what you think will happen to him when he gets there. I personally don't see Dany putting up with him. Whooshu! So now we move at Riverrun, where the Lannister army is headed with Jamie and Bran. A lot of returns this episode. We all miss this guy. Both Bran and Jamie are unimpressed, to say the least, with the Siege of the Freys, and they took charge of it. I know Jamie kinda got destroyed by the Blackfish later in this episode, but got to give it to him on how he handled this guy. So Jamie then goes to talk to Brynden Tully to see if there is any way they can end this peacefully, but Brynden is a freaking badass this whole episode. This is the scene where Jamie gets owned by Brynden. I wanted to get a measure of you, I'm disappointed. So even though Brynden is a total badass, I'm worried about how this is going to end up. Brynden says, "I was born in this castle and I am ready to die in it." And this is the scenario we all fear, but given the two armies, I don't think the Blackfish stand a chance. And given what we hear in the preview of the next episode, it doesn't seem likely that Jaime is ready to end this peacefully, but I'll make another video about the preview of episode 8. So congratulations guys, if you made it through all the whooshoos of the day, slap that like button if you enjoyed it, it really likes it. Kick that subscribe button in the nuts if you want to help this channel grow. I also have other videos if you want to check them out, and the next video will be the preview breakdown of episode 8. So stay tuned guys. Until the next time, stay safe, stay bold, and stay awesome. Bye bye.